Good morning, students. So yesterday we have discussed about few problems and we have written some algorithms for some problems. Is it audible to everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we have discussed about algorithm. So what is an algorithm? An algorithm is a step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. So we have taken some problems like addition of two numbers, to find the biggest of two numbers, to find the sum of n numbers, to find the factorial of a number. So these are the four problems we have discussed. 1 second. Awesome. Okay, ma'am. Okay. So we have discussed the four problems. So today we shall discuss the second topic, that is flowchart. 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 Flowchart is a diagrammatic representation. Flowchart is a diagrammatic representation of an algorithm. It is called as a flowchart. So what is an algorithm? An algorithm is a step-by-step procedure to solve the problem. So flowchart is the graphical representation. If we denote by using some notation, the algorithm, if we denote the algorithm by using some symbol, some graphical notation, then it is called as a flowchart. So flowchart, we have to see what are the symbols used in the flowchart. Symbols used in flowchart. So first one is oval. The symbol is like this, oval. This is used for start or stop. The first symbol in the flowchart is oval symbol. The notation is like this, oval. This is used for start or stop. Start or stop. So yesterday in algorithm, we have seen that we have used these two words. First step of the algorithm is start, last step of the algorithm is stop. So to denote the start and stop of algorithm, we use oval symbol in flowchart. Second. Second symbol is parallelogram. The parallelogram notation is like this. This is used for input or output. This is the symbol used for input or output. So in yesterday, when we are discussing about the algorithm problem, like read n. So n is the input. Like in factorial of a number, first we are reading for which number we want to find the factorial. So I had used the statement as read n. So n is the input. So for that read n, we use the notation parallelogram. Like addition of two numbers. So what is the first step? Start in algorithm. What is the second step I had used? Read a comma b. That read a comma b is nothing but the input. The notation used is parallelogram. The third symbol is rectangle. The third symbol is so the notation is like this. This is the rectangle. The rectangle symbol is used for calculation purpose. Calculation, also called as process symbol. The third symbol used in the flowchart is rectangle. The notation is like this. This symbol is used for calculation or process. Like in addition of two numbers, C is equal to A plus B. Yesterday's in algorithm, I used the third statement as C is equal to A plus B. That is the calculation I am doing. For that, representing that calculation, we will use the rectangle symbol. fourth one. Rhombus. Rhombus. This is the rhombus symbol. Rhombus symbol. The rhombus symbol is used for decision making. The rhombus symbol is used for decision making. Like in biggest of two numbers, yesterday we have seen, we are making a decision whether A is greater than B or B is greater than A. For such type of decision, we use the rhombus symbol. We use the rhombus symbol. So this is called as decision making symbol. For decision making, we use the rhombus symbol. These are the arrows. Arrows. Either it can be horizontal or vertical. So these are arrows. Arrows are used to connect the flowchart symbol to indicate the flow, to indicate the step. To indicate the step, we will use the arrows. How the flow of the process is taking place to solve the problem. So these are the arrows. The fifth symbol is arrows. Arrows is used to connect flowchart symbol. And the last symbol is connector. Circle symbol. The circle symbol denoted as this one. This is used to connect two flowcharts. This is the connect. Suppose our flowchart is bigger. We are not able to draw in a single page. Then to connect from one page to another page, then we use the connector symbol. Connector. Connect to flowchart. So these are the different symbols used for flowchart. So what is a flowchart? Flowchart is the graphical representation of an algorithm. We are representing algorithm only. What is algorithm? Algorithm is step-by-step procedure to solve the problem. But to represent that algorithm, we use the diagrammatic representation. Diagrammatic representation by using this symbol. This oval is used for start or stop. This parallelogram is used for input or output. This rectangle is used for calculation purpose. This diamond symbol is used for checking the condition whether it is greater than or less than, like that. These arrows are used to connect flowchart symbols. How the flow is taking place in the flowchart. This connector is used to connect different two flowcharts. If we are not able to draw in a single page, if the flowchart extends to second page, then we use the correct symbol. Now we shall see some of the examples how we can write the flowchart for solving the problem. Anybody having any doubt? Students? Everybody able to hear? Everybody able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now, yesterday we have solved some problems, right? For the same set of problems, I will write the flow chart. For the same set of problems, I will write the flow chart. First problem. write algorithm and flowchart to add two numbers. So yesterday we have seen the algorithm. Now we have to convert this algorithm into a graphical representation. That is nothing but flowchart. So how the algorithm we have written? What is step 1? Step 1 is always start. I am writing the algorithm. Same what I have written yesterday, I am writing once again. What is step 2? So what is the title of the problem? Write algorithm and flowchart to add how many numbers? 2 numbers. So we need to input 2 numbers. So that input I am writing as read A, B. I need 2 numbers. Now what is the question? We need to add. Then I need to add 2 numbers and store in C. So what is the next step? Third step is C is equal to A plus B. This is the calculation part. This is the start symbol. Start. What are the inputs required for solving our problem? What is the problem to be solved? Calculation part. Now C contains addition of 2 numbers. It is in C. Now I have to display this onto the monitor. So I can use print C. Yesterday I have written display. Here I am using print. You can also use write. It is only for user understanding purpose. It is only for our understanding purpose. So it is not compulsory that you have to use print only, or you have to use display only, or you have to use write only. It is our understanding. What is the next step? Next step is stop. So same what I have written the steps yesterday, it is same step. Start, stop. Start will be always first statement, stop will be always last statement. So these are the inputs, this is the calculation, this is the output. So yesterday I did display, here I am using print. Now I will write the flowchart. Now start symbol. Start. What is the start symbol? Start symbol is oval. First step is oval. What is the second step? Read A, B. Reading means it is input. Here instead of read, you can also write as input. Input A, B. Here for print you can use output C. It's only for our understanding purpose. So read means input. So what is the next step? Next step is read. Read A, B. See here, I have used the arrow. That means the flow is coming from this symbol to this, in this direction. This is the arrow. So arrow used to represent the flow of the problem. Next, C is equal to A plus B. This is the calculation part. What is the symbol used for calculation part? It is the rectangle symbol. C is equal to A plus B. Now, print C. Print means it is the output statement. What is the symbol used for output? It is a parallelogram. Print C. Next, what is the last statement? Last statement is stop. What is the symbol used for stop? Again, oval. So here you can see that the arrow indicates the flow of the process. From start, we will come to the next step. Next step is input A, B. Next, after getting the values, 2 values, we are adding the 2 numbers and storing in C. After completing this calculation part, we want to display it onto the output screen. See the arrow. This arrow indicates the flow of the problem. Now, this is A, this is B. This is the output C. So what are the names I had used here? A I had used, B I had used, C I had used. This is called as tracing. Tracing the problem, whether our algorithm or flowchart, whether it performs what is the problem to be solved, whether we are getting the correct solution or not. Now say that it is 5 and it is 3. A is 5, B is 3. Now what is the calculation? C is equal to A plus B. 5 plus 3. I am storing in C. What is the C value now? 8. 8. So display C. Then stop. So this is the output. This is the output. So this is the algorithm, flowchart. This is a tracing, whether we are getting the correct value, correct output or not for different values of A and B. Like if I take A is equal to 8, B is equal to 2, C is equal to A plus B. 8 plus 2 I am storing in C. So what is 8 plus 2? 8 plus 2 is stored in C. Then I am displaying C value. So this is the output. This is the output. So this is about algorithm, flowchart and tracing. In this, any doubt for anybody? Any doubt? Students, are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we will go to
Yes,
the
sir.
next problem. What is the second problem I discussed yesterday? What is the second problem I discussed yesterday?
Biggest of two numbers.
Biggest of two numbers. So algorithm and flowchart to find biggest of two numbers. Biggest of two numbers. Now, what is the algorithm? Step 1. First step will always be start. First step will always be start. Now second step. First you have to understand the question properly. What is the input is required? This is a small problem, we can easily understand. But for bigger problems also, first you need to understand the question. Then only you can get what are the inputs are required, what is the output is expected, what is the calculation we need to perform. So read this problem statement 2 to 3 times. Here this is small problem, we can understand. How many inputs are required? Only 2 inputs are required. So 2 inputs. So read A comma B. A comma B. Third one. Third step. Now the question is asking us to find biggest of two numbers. So first we require two numbers. Without two numbers, we cannot find the biggest of two numbers. So first we need to get the two numbers. Read A comma B. Now we need to check if A is greater than B. A is greater than B. Then what is the output? A is the biggest number. So here you can write that print A is big. A is big. Otherwise, what? If A is less than B, here you can use A is less than B or B is greater than A. Both are same. Here you can write like this also, B greater than A. B greater than A. Then what is the statement? Print B is big. Print B is big. If A is greater than B, then only you do this one. If A is less than B, then this will not be executed. Then it will check again here. If B is greater than A, then this will be printed. What is the next step? If A equal to B. If A is equal to B. Equal I am writing 2 times. So equal I am writing 2 means it is comparison. Whether A is equal to B. A is equal to B. Then print A is equal to B. Equal to B. Sixth, what is the last step? The last step will always be stop. Because already we have printed the message. What is required? Write algorithm and flowchart to find the biggest of two numbers. So here only you will get which is the biggest, whether A is bigger or B is bigger or whether both are same. Now, we write the flowchart. So what is the first step? First step is always start. Last step is always stop. Now we write the flowchart. What is the symbol for flowchart? For start, it is the oval symbol. For start, it is the oval symbol. Next, what is the next step? Read. Read means input. Read A comma B. Read A comma B. So for read, we will use the parallelogram. What is this? If A greater than B. A greater than B. Is it true or false? True or false? So here we have to decide decision symbol. Here we have to use decision symbol because it is having two values. Either this condition might be true or this condition might be false. So for this kind of conditions, we use the symbol as rhombus. We use the symbol as a rhombus symbol. Rhombus symbol. Here, A greater than B. If A is greater than B, because there are two values. It can be a true or it can be a false. So if it is true, then we come here. We write as yes. If it is yes or if it is true, then we go this side. Then what we will print? We will print A is big. We will print A is bigger. If it is false, if this is true, then only this statement will be executed. Then only this statement will be executed. If this is false, means then only you will check here. If B is greater than A, if this is false means no, then you will come here. If it is no, then what you are checking? Again you are checking as B is greater than A. So whenever it is a condition, always use a rhombus symbol. If B is greater than A, again we need to check whether B is greater than A or not. There are two values. Either it is yes or no. So if it is yes, then which is bigger? B is bigger. Print B is big. Then print B is big. If this is no, if A is greater than B is false, then only you will come here. If B is greater than A, then only you will write this one, execute this statement. So print B is big. If it is yes, if it is no, means you will check this condition. Is A equal to B? Here you can write directly print A is equal to B. A is equal to B. Because already we have checked for A greater than B. We have checked for B greater than A. If both are not true, means they must be always equal. A is equal to B. There are only three possibilities, right? Either A should be greater than B, or B should be greater than A, or they should be equal. So here again I am not writing the condition for A equal to B. You can use the rhombus symbol, but that is not required. Then stop. So this is the flow chart. This is the flow chart for to find the biggest of two numbers. So first step is start. Start. Now I will erase this one, algorithm. Now tracing. Now tracing. Say that A is 5, B is 3. A is 5, B is 3. What is the output we are getting? What is the output we are getting? A is 5, B is 3. So start, A is 5, B is 3. Now slow. You see the arrow symbol. Every time I am writing the arrow symbol. This is the arrow symbol means it is coming in this direction. This is the arrow symbol means it is going in this direction. Now check the condition. A is greater than B. Now what is the value of A? 5. 5 is greater than 3? Yes. Yes means you will follow this arrow. So here you will display print A is big. So what is the output? A is big. A is big. Then you will follow this arrow and you will stop. You will not at all execute these statements because this is true. You are following this arrow, you are stopping the algorithm flow. Now, second example. A is 8 and B is 2. Once again. A is 8, B is 12. The second case. Now, start, read A, comma B. 8 and 12. Now check the condition. Is 8 is greater than 12? Is 8 is greater than 12? No. 8 is not greater than 12. No means follow this arrow. Follow this arrow. Now, 12 is greater than A. 12 is greater than A. Yes. Yes means follow this arrow. You don't go this arrow. Because 12 is greater than A. Follow this arrow. Print B is big. So what is the output we are getting? B is big. B is big. And follow the arrow. Stop. Follow this arrow. Stop. Now, what is the third case we can get? Say that A is 15 and B is 15. A is 15 and B is 15. Again tracing. 15, 15. Is 15 greater than 15? No. No means follow this arrow. Now, 15 greater than 15. Because B value is also 15, right? 15 greater than 15. No. No means follow this arrow. Print A is equal to B. A is equal to A is equal to B. Now, after this, follow this arrow, stop. So, first we have written algorithm. We have converted the algorithm into diagrammatic representation by using some notation called as flowchart. This is the tracing, whether our algorithm or flowchart is working correctly or not. So, this is the second problem. Cleared everybody? In this, anybody having any doubt?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Sir, is rectangle using is mandatory?
Rectangle is used only for calculation purpose. Here we are not calculating here. Here this is the decision. Decision means rhombus. For
Okay,
calculation purpose only we need to use rectangle. Like C is equal to A plus B in the last problem. Anybody having any doubt still?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
In tracing, in output, we can say 5 is big in directly, sir.
We can write because A value I have taken as 5. You can print 5 is big or A is big. That all depends on you.
Okay, sir.
Still anybody having any doubt?
Sir, can you explain?
Our understanding purpose. Algorithm and flowchart are only for user understanding. We will use this algorithm or flowchart for understanding the problem solution, how the problem is solved in a step-by-step manner. After understanding this algorithm and flowchart, then we are going to the programming. For writing the program, we need to learn some constructs. That constructs will be learned later. First, we have to understand basic how to solve the problem by using algorithm and flowchart. What is the third problem I have discussed yesterday? What is the third problem?
To find
Sum
sum
of
of
natural
n.
Sum of n numbers. To find the sum of n numbers. So first we need to understand what is the problem. Write algorithm and process to find sum. So we need to find sum. Up to how many numbers? N numbers. So here only you have to extract what we need to do, what is the input is required. So n is the input required. So using that n we need to find the sum. So algorithm, step 1. Step 1 will always be start. Start. What is the second step? If you have not started finding the sum, the initial value of the sum will always be 0 because we have not started adding the numbers. So initialize sum is equal to 0. So yesterday I have written initialize. So here I am saying that in short I am writing as sum is equal to 0. Sum is equal to 0.
Okay.
It's only for our understanding. You can use the statement initialize sum is equal to 0 like that. Here I am writing in short annotation as sum is equal to 0 because I have not started adding the numbers. So what is the first number? The first number is 1. If n is 5, what is the output we have got? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. If n is 3, what is the output? 1 plus 2 plus 3. If n is 100, what is the sum we have to get? 1 plus 2 plus up to 100. So what is the starting number? The starting number we have to start from 1. So that I am taking as I. I is equal to 1. Initialize I is equal to 1. This is only for our understanding. You can write the word I initialize also. I is equal to 1. Initialize I is equal to 1. So we have got one number. Say that n is 3. N is 3. So I have to get this sum, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3. So this is the first number. The first number I have got now. I have got the first number. So now before this I have to read n value, right? How many numbers? Here this is an example. But n can be any number. So what is the... Here I will write once again. What is the input required? Input required is n number. Read n. You can read here also, not a problem, but I am writing according to yesterday. Read n. How many numbers we require? What is the starting sum? Starting sum is always 0. What is the first number? The first number is 1. Now we have got first number 1. 1. Now we need to add this to sum. Now sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum earlier it is 0. 0 plus 1. Sum will be 1 now. Sum will change to 1. Now I have to get this second number, right? This second number I have to store in I. I started with 1. The second number I have to store in I. So what I need to do? 1 plus 1, it will be 2. So now fix that I is equal to I plus 1. Increase the value of I by 1. So 1 plus 1 will become 2. 2. Now I have got the second number. Now I need to add this number. Earlier it is 1. 1 plus 2 will be 3. So repeat these two statements. Repeat this. What is the next statement? If I is less than or equal to n, then repeat steps from 5 to 7. 5 to 7. Now I is 2, right? 2 is less than or equal to 3. Yes. Then repeat step 5. Sum is equal to sum plus I. I is equal to I plus 1. I is 3. 3 less than or equal to 3. Repeat. I is 4. 4 less than or equal to 3? No. No means then only you are coming outside. So what is the next statement? Print sum. Print sum. What is the last statement? Stop. Stop. Yesterday we have seen this algorithm. Now I will convert this algorithm into flowchart. So what is the first step? First step is always start. Start symbol is O1. Start symbol is O1. What is the next step? Read N. So input. For input we will use the symbol parallelogram. Read N. Read N value. Sum is equal to 0. Sum is equal to 0. So this is the calculation part. Sum is equal to 0. For calculation part I am using the rectangle. I is equal to 1. This is also calculation part. You are assigning 1 to I. I is equal to 1. What is the next step? When we get first number, we will add. This is also a calculation part. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum is equal to sum plus I. What is the next statement? I is equal to I plus 1. I is equal to I plus 1. Now, next statement. Here is less than or equal to. This is the condition. This is not the calculation. Here we are checking whether it is true or false. It is yes or no. Yes or no statements are called as condition statements or decision statements. Whenever we get the decision statement, we have to use a rhombus symbol or diamond symbol. Then this is the diamond symbol. Now write this condition. What is the condition? I less than or equal to n. If I less than or equal to n. Less than or equal to n. If it is yes, then repeat step 5 to 7. So where is step 5? Step 5 is sum is equal to sum plus I. So here, if it is yes, if it is true, I is less than or equal to n. If it is true, then go to step 5. What is step 5? Step 5 is nothing but sum is equal to sum plus I. If it is no, if the condition is false, then you are coming to next step. What is the next step? Print sum. What is the print statement? Print is nothing but output statement. So what is the symbol used for output statement? Parallelogram. Print sum. What is the last statement? Last statement will always be stop. What is the symbol used for stop? O1. This is the O symbol. So this is the flow chart. This is the algorithm. This is the flow chart, diagrammatic representation. Now we have to see that whether this flow chart or algorithm works for all the values of n. Now tracing. Tracing. Now first we have to observe what are the names we have used. One is n, another is sum, another is I. We have used these three names. We have used these three names in this flow chart, in this algorithm or in this flow chart. Now we have to write the names. Name is n, another is I, another is sum. I am writing sum last because that is the output I require. Here I am writing second. Order is not important. We need to find the sum. That's why I am writing last. This is the input. Say that n is 5. So what is the title of the problem? write algorithm and flowchart to find the sum of n numbers. N value I have taken as 5. The starting number I have to take as 1. What is the initial value of the sum? Sum is 0. Before starting the adding of numbers, sum will always be 0. I is 1. I is 1. Now we have got one number. You add that one number to sum. Sum, what is the sum? Sum is 0. 0 plus 1, it will become 1. 1 is stored in sum. So sum will change to 1. Now I need to add second number. How I will get the second number? By increasing the value of I by 1. I is equal to I plus 1. Earlier value of I is 1. 1 plus 1 will become 2. 1 plus 1 will become 2. Now check the condition. Is 2 less than or equal to 5? N is 5. I is 2. 2 less than or equal to 5? Yes. Yes means go to step 5. Here. Yes. Sum is equal to sum plus 3. What is sum now? Sum is 1. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 is stored in sum. Now sum will change to 3. Sum will change to 3. Now what is the flow? The arrow is below. After coming like this, you have to come the next statement. The next statement is I is equal to I plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now again check whether 3 is less than or equal to 5. Because we need to add 5 numbers. So 3 is less than or equal to 5. That means go this arrow. Don't go this arrow. S. Then sum is equal to sum plus 3. Starting value of sum is, now sum is 3. Add third number. 3 plus 3 is 6. Now sum value will change to 6. Sum is 6. Then I is equal to I plus 1. Get the next number. 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Again check whether 4 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. Sum is equal to sum plus I. What is the value of sum now? Current value of sum is 6. 6 plus 4, 10. Now sum changes to 10. Sum changes to 10. What is the next statement? You follow arrow. I is equal to I plus 1. 4 plus 1, 5. 4 plus 1, 5. Again check the condition. Is 5 less than or equal to 5? 5 less than or equal to 5? Yes. Yes means again calculate this step. Sum is equal to sum plus 5. What is the current value of sum? 10. 10 plus 5? 15. 15 again stored in sum. Sum. What is the next step? I is equal to I plus 1. 6. I is equal to I plus 1. 6. Now again check the condition. Whether this 6 number to be added or not. 6 is less than or equal to 5? 6 is less than or equal to 5? No. No means you are coming outside. 6 is less than or equal to 5? You are coming outside. You are not repeating. You are coming outside. Print sum. So what is the current value of sum? Sum. Current value of sum is 15. Then stop. So whatever the output we have expected, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, that is 15. So we have got 15 by the flowchart or by the algorithm. So this flowchart or algorithm works for any input value of n. This is general. Here I have taken 5. If you have changed it to 4, then it will be 10. If you have changed it to 3, then it will be 6. If you have changed it to 2, then it will be 3. If you have changed it to 1, that is, it will be 1. So algorithm or flowchart should be general. For tracing, we will take any example of n. So what is the title of the problem? To find the sum of n number. So we require which number we have to find the sum. Up to which number? N. What we are calculating? Sum. So before starting the problem, sum will always be 0. What is the starting number? Starting number is 1. After getting this one number, add the number. Now get the second number, add that number. Get the third number, add that number. Get the fourth number, add that number. Until it is equal to n. If it is greater than n, then print the sum. By that time, sum will be containing the correct answer. Let's stop. So this is, in this, anybody having any doubt? Students?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Shall I continue for next problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I did it. What is the next problem we discussed yesterday? Right, algorithm I?
Factorial of
Factorial
n.
number.
Right, algorithm and flowchart to find the factorial of a number. To find the factorial of a number. So what is the step 1? Step 1 is start. What is the step 2? First understand the question properly. We need to find the factorial of a given number n. Given number. Which is the given number? That we need to input. Read any number n. Read any number, say it as n. Now, since factorial of 0 is 1, factorial of 1 is 1, so minimum value of the factorial is 1. So here I have to write that fact is equal to 1. In previous problem, before starting the sum of n numbers, sum will be 0. But here before starting the finding the factorial is 1. Because by default it will be 0 or it can be more than 0 factorial or 1 factorial or any factorial. But 0 factorial itself is minimum, that's why I am taking this for as 1. But in the earlier problem, sum of n numbers, I have started sum as 0. But here I am starting factorial as 1. Because 0 factorial is 1. What is step 4? Now what is factorial? Product of numbers from 1 to n. That is the definition for factorial. Product of numbers from 1 to n. Now what is the starting number? Starting number is equal to 1. Yesterday I have written as initialize I is equal to 1. You can write in short also. This is only for our understanding. I is equal to 1. Now we have got this first number. Now we will multiply. 1 into 1. Calculation. So what is the next step? Fact is equal to fact into I. Fact is equal to fact into I. For I am using star. In computer we will use this symbol, star. Not X. This is mathematical notation. This is computer notation. We are going to learn later when discussing the symbols used in C language. Fact is equal to fact into I. So 1. 1 into 1, 1. So what is the factorial definition? Product of n number from 1 to n. So 1 we have calculated. What is the next number? 2. To get 2, what I need to add? I need to add 1. I is equal to I plus 1. Now I have got the next number. Again calculate the factorial. Now what is the current value of factorial is 1. 1 into 2, it will be 2. Again increase the value of 1. Get the third number. 2 plus 1, 3. Now 2 into 3, 6. Get the next number. 3 plus 1, 4. 6 into 4, 24. You repeat these statements until I is less than or equal to n. When I is greater than n, then by that time the fact is containing our result, expected result. Print that result. What is the seventh step? If I less than or equal to n, if I less than or equal to n, then repeat step. Then repeat step. Next number I got, then find the fact. Next number, calculate the factorial. These two statements. Repeat the step from where to where? From 5 to 7. Repeat step from 5 to 7. When this condition is false, then by that time our factorial is containing the expected output. print fact. Print fact. What is the ninth last step? Ninth last step will always be stop. Start, stop. This one is the calculation. Start, stop. This is the calculation part. Now we write the flow chart. Flow chart. What is the first step? First step is always start. For start, we use the symbol O1.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in fourth step, you denoted I as constant 1.
Yes.
In sixth step, you denoted I as variable, but you did not describe, no, sir. In sixth step, I is variable. This I is equals to I plus 1.
Whenever I am taking the name, that itself is variable.
In fourth step, you took it is constant. I is equals to 1.
No, I is variable. 1 is constant.
Sir, you denoted in fourth step I is equals to 1. It is constant. You justified there. In sixth,
it is not constant. Any number, 5 is constant, 10 is constant, like 1000. These are constant. This name is a variable. X is a variable. X can contain 10, X can contain 5, X can contain 1000. These are constant. This is a variable. That we shall discuss when I am defining the definition of variable.
Okay, sir.
Like for example, student is equal to Sachin. Student is equal to Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar is a constant, but student is not a constant. Student can be Sachin Tendulkar, student can be Rahul Dravid, student can be Virat Kohli. Here for this example, I have taken Sachin Tendulkar as a student. Students can be variable, but Sachin Tendulkar is a constant. Here 1 is a constant, I is a variable. I can contain 1, I can contain 2, I can contain 3, I can contain 10. I can contain any number. Student in our classroom of 60, if I call 1 student, that is a constant. But generally a student is a variable. Student can be Sachin Tendulkar, student can be Ganguly, student can be Dravid, student can be Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli is a constant, but student is not a constant. Student can change. That we shall discuss when I am discussing about the variables, because I am starting as if everybody don't know this variable or constant. Is your doubt clear?
Yes, sir.
Start. Read the value of n. Which factorial you want to find out. So for reading, we have to use parallelogram. Read n. So initial value, since factorial 0 is 0, 1, factorial of 1 is 1, so starting value of the factorial is 1. So this is assignment. Assignment also we are using as a calculation part. Rectangle. Factorial is 1. This is the assignment. Assignment is also one calculation part. I is equal to 1. I is equal to 1. Now fact is equal to fact into I. Now if you say this one as constant, again we cannot calculate. Fact is equal to fact into I as in this statement. So fact is equal to fact into I. So what is the starting value of fact? 1. 1 into 1, 1. So new value of fact will be 1. Calculation step, rectangle. Fact is equal to fact into I. 1 into 1. So we will get the next number. I is equal to I plus 1. I is equal to I plus 1. Now we have to test the condition. Whether it is less than or equal to, if it is less than or equal to, again find the product of number. Again calculate the factorial, increase the number. check the condition. If it is less than, find the factorial, increase the number. If it is less than, you repeat this process until I is less than or equal to n. When I becomes greater than n, come outside, print the factorial value. So now, if I is less than or equal to n, then again find the factorial. Yes. Again find the factorial. If it is no, then print. Print fact. What is the last step? Last step will always be stop. Last step will always be stop, oval symbol. Now, this is the algorithm, that is the flowchart we have written. But we don't know whether we will get the correct answer for all the values of n. Now, we will trace with some values. Now, this is the tracing. So, now, what are the names we have used? We should observe. We need the input, we need the output. This is the input value, this is the output. So, for getting the numbers, I had used I. So, n factorial and I. These are the names I had used. One is n, another is I, another is factorial. Factorial. Now, n. Say that I want to find the factorial of 4. Factorial of 4. What is the starting number? Starting number will always be 1. What is the starting value of the factorial? Starting value of the factorial is always 1. This much is over. Now, this is the actual logic. Fact is equal to fact into I. 1 into 1. 1. 1 is again stored in fact. Now, get the next number. How will get the next number? I is equal to I plus 1. So, earlier I is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, check whether 2 is less than or equal to yes. 2 is less than or equal to 4. Yes. Yes means go to this step. You follow this arrow. Arrows are important. 5 is equal. Now, fact is equal to fact into 1 into 2, 2. Where it is stored? It is stored in fact only. That's why I am writing below this line. This is the factorial. Again, get the next number. What is the next number? I is equal to I plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, 3 is less than or equal to 4. You can see here also or you can see here also. 3 is less than or equal to 4. Yes means go to this step. Factorial is equal to factorial into I. 2 into 3. 2 into 3 is 6. This value is changes 6. The value of factorial is 6 now. Get the next number. The next number is 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Again check the condition. If 4 is less than or equal to 4. So 4 is equal to 4, right? Again, yes. Come to this step. Factorial is equal to factorial into I. 6 into 4, 24. 24. Get the next number. What is the next number? 4 plus 1 is 5. Now again check the condition whether we have reached it or not. If 5 is less than or equal to 4. 5 is less than or equal to 4? No. No means follow this arrow. Print factorial. So what is the factorial we are getting? We are getting 24. Then stop. So what is the factorial of 4? Factorial of 4 is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. 1 into 2, 2. 2 into 3, 6. 6 into 4 is 24. So this is manual calculation. This is the tracing according to the flow chart. This is the tracing according to the flow chart. This is the manual tracing. 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 is manual. So our manual result and the algorithm tracing or flow chart tracing is correct. Then we say that our algorithm or flow chart is correct. It works for any value of n. If you want to check for another number, I can take n is equal to 7. Now I can follow this process. For that 7 also it is correct. Then in general we can say that whatever the algorithm or flow chart we have written, it works for any value of n. In this, anybody having any doubt? Yesterday we have discussed about algorithm. Today we have discussed about flow chart. Anybody having any doubt in this? Students?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. It's clear.
Okay. So I want you people, whatever the problems I have discussed, you practice this one. Then only you can understand the remaining problem. Because as I go next class, the problems will be complicated. So if you don't know this basic problem, then you cannot understand. So my suggestion to you people is try to practice, because I am taking the same example. Yesterday also same example, today also same example. Tomorrow I will change. So to understand the remaining problems, you need to know these basics thoroughly. So today I will stop here, continue tomorrow in the next class, remaining topics. Erase. Is any resound is coming today?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
Is
sir,
it
it's all
okay?
clear.
No, sir.
All clear.
Is it okay today? The pace, whatever I am following the pace, is it okay to for your understanding purpose, or I have to reduce the speed?
No, sir.
No, sir. It is
It's,
good.
it's okay, sir.
Okay, my suggestion is please practice this problem so that
Okay,
I
sir.
can
Yes, sir.
go complex problems from the next class. Okay. Thank you for everybody for attending the class. Continue.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.